Good afternoon, WICR. Welcome back to Final Whistle. David Giacomino, Kevin Walsh here. And the opening topic, of course, everybody knows what's going down. What happened last night, I should say. Mets-Dodgers. Dodgers took Game 4. Clayton Kershaw put on a stellar performance like me and Walsh did expect. And took basically Game 4 by himself. You know, he got 3 runs. That's all he needed. He was in the driver's seat after he got the 3 runs. The Mets didn't really have that great at bats against him. They didn't look too good against him. They just had the one shot from Daniel Murphy. Walsh, what's your take on it? And what's your take for Game 5?
Starting out with the Game 4, Kershaw definitely, Kershaw definitely looked big time. Last night, Kershaw. Without a doubt, looked like, one of the best pitchers, in all of baseball with that performance. I don't love the decision to take him out after 7. I thought he could have gone one more. It's really tough, I guess, the 3 days rest. I guess Mattingly, trusts his bullpen maybe more than what we do. Daniel Murphy has his number.
I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you one thing. If the result was differently, and after he took him out, Mattingly could be fired.
Oh, he should be fired. I don't think there's any question about it.
If they would have got the big hit yesterday in that 8th inning when he took him out of the game, he should be fired. He's lucky.
We look at Game 1 and we both agreed that David Wright has had no answer, really, except for the one hit he had in the postseason, and that was that one hit who came against the guy that came in for Kershaw. And I think that Kershaw Game 1 should have stayed in. I think he should have owned up to it. If he was going to give it up, he's going to give it up. If he's not going to give it up, he's not going to give it up. And keep that a 1-0 game. The Dodgers did go tack a run on later in that game. And then he goes and does it again. I don't really know what his mindset is. I don't know if Mattingly, maybe Mattingly is just not a postseason type of guy. Maybe he doesn't realize the extreme pressure that is there. You can't just throw it to these guys in the bullpen so casually.
My motto has always been in the postseason, you ride and die with your ace. Mm-hmm. Kershaw is the team's ace. I know Greinke had a great year. Right. Kershaw is this team's guy.
Of course.
And you can't. I'm sure Kershaw was even like, "You taking me out?" Did you see what happened Game 1?
I would love to know what was Kershaw's feeling towards being taken out. I wonder if it was a conversation they maybe had pregame. I know he was on 3 days rest.
It's not like he had 110 pitches. He had 94.
Yeah, but he would have finished with 110.
Yeah, but you could even have started him in the inning.
Or maybe less, but still.
Yeah.
I do understand what you were saying, and maybe the one thing Mattingly said to himself was, and I don't know if, but maybe he was nervous Kershaw would get hit. Maybe he was nervous Kershaw goes out there, lets the first runner on, and now he's in a situation where, I really should take him out, but I really don't want Kershaw to end on that note.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I mean, we could look back at previous postseasons, like with him leaving him in against the Cardinals and getting hit. Maybe that's his mindset. I don't know, but this is not the Cardinals. This is the Mets. No, this is a different team. There's a lot of things that could be said. I don't know. I just don't see. I couldn't see how.
I mean, luckily it worked out for him.
Oh, he's very lucky. Otherwise he wouldn't have a job today. Yeah. The day after, he would be fired.
Yeah, I mean, if they lose the series, he would definitely get fired.
Yeah.
I'll say this though: the Mets still showed some. They showed some fight. Daniel Murphy has Kershaw's number, calls him once a day, obviously.
Yeah.
And the Mets did show some heart. They put some runners on in the 8th. They giving it their all, obviously. They went to the bullpen and they did a nice job keeping the lead where it was at.
I'll say one thing: Steven Matz did okay. He had one bad inning, the 3 runs. He got a couple of back-to-back hits, but then he was struggling, but he was able to limit the damage. And then Bartolo came in again. Bartolo's been.
I mean, he's calm.
Yeah.
It really doesn't look like it matters to him, and I think that was maybe one of the bigger differences from Matz. Maybe hindsight should have went Bartolo over Matz. I'm not sure.
I don't
it's
know.
Tough. Listen, hindsight's 2022 because the way Bartolo has looked. The one thing about Matz is you saw when he gave up the first run, you saw that no look on him.
Yeah.
And there was that kind of look that you don't really want to see. he looked so defeated after that, and I think that maybe played a little bit of part in him giving up the next big hit.
Yeah.
And then Cespedes fumbling the ball in the outfield. You don't normally see that.
And he was really lackadaisical in getting it in. Usually when you fumble, you rush to get it in. He was just like, oh, I fumbled. The run's gonna score. I'll get it in now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that's really been his thing. Oh yeah, it's nothing new from him. That's just the way he acts, I guess. But really going into this game 5, it's tricky to predict this game because on one hand you have Jacob deGrom. He had a great game 1.
Mm-hmm.
Greinke, he had a solid game. He had a solid game 2. And the Mets hitting has really been on and off. They had the big game 3, and they didn't really show up in game 4. But that's just Clayton Kershaw, and you don't really know what this Dodger hitting team is because they really had one inning in each game. You know, they had the one inning against Harvey, the one inning against Matz, and they didn't really do anything else. So it's kind of really hard to see what's going to happen in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes, one thing, I don't think you can discredit a team for doing it in one inning because I think a lot of times, you know, in the postseason, one inning maybe is all you get. You know, you're not really going to go out there and throw crooked numbers up a whole bunch of innings because, you know, normally you're facing the best pitchers in the postseason. The one thing that I wonder is if the Dodgers maybe can get their timing down a little bit more. You know,
do you think that facing Jacob deGrom a second time is going to help them and they're going to have timing down?
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You know, being able to see him again, go back, watch the film, maybe say, all right, you know what, he likes to start me off. I think one thing that is big is when you see a guy a second time in that shortest span. Because, you know, a lot of times you don't see guys for, you know, two times in 5 days. You can go back and you can, one thing I think you maybe can pick on is what does he like to start me off with, and maybe try to jump first pitch.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I think that might be something you could try to see from the Dodgers right now. Obviously momentum has swung their way. Yeah, going back to LA.
That's why I said everyone was flipping out. Oh, the Mets crushed them in game 3. Look how bad we defeated them. The game meant nothing. The score meant nothing. It was just a win. Yeah, and people were really overreacting. And I was just saying, if they come back and win game 4, it doesn't matter what the score. They have all the momentum going into their home field. It's gonna be tough. But you know, deGrom's got to come up with something, and maybe he's got to change up something because he's seen them so recently. I don't know.
It's tough, but because the thing is, like, Jacob deGrom couldn't have looked better game 1. He couldn't have looked better game 1. Can he do it again? Like I said, it's you know, deGrom has been great for the majority of the season, but he did have those one or, you know, couple games where he just got blown up, and you maybe wonder if they can jump first pitch, does he maybe give up a run early? And if he gives up that run early,
I will say this: whoever scores first in this game will win.
That's how you.
I don't see
a comeback of any sorts.
Yeah, I don't see a comeback because these are two aces on the mound. If they get a lead, I'll be like, all right, this game, I got this game. That's how I think both of their mindsets are. Give me a lead, I'm gonna be up.
I'll say this: I think the lead is way more important for deGrom. I think he might need that to settle himself down. You know, it was like the 7th inning, and he was throwing 98 miles an hour. He was fired up from start to finish, and I think a part of that was nerves, but also excitement and everything. But I think right now it's going to be a little bit more nerves than excitement. This is a big game, and it's unfortunately for him, it's really all on deGrom's shoulders. The Mets are really going to go as far as him because every inning the Mets bats go out there and they put up a 0 spot against Greinke. It's kind of what you expected. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
so
each inning that the Mets put up a 0, he's like, all right, I need a 0 here. I need a 0 here. I can't let up any runs. I can't let up any runs.
It's that feeling back in June that the Mets pitchers used to have of I can't give up a run.
I need to see someone come up clutch for the Mets. Maybe hit a early homer.
I mean, they need to hopefully for the Mets to win, they would need to score early, and that's why I don't see the Mets winning this game.
I was about to ask your prediction.
Yeah, you know, it was the reason why I had picked the Dodgers early on. For me, I said it would be in 4. I didn't think Kershaw would take the defeat in the first game. Game 3, I genuinely felt you couldn't have guaranteed any more that the Mets would win. The first game at Citi Field ever in the postseason. The first game for Mets fans, postseason baseball in a long time. Harvey on the mound too. I thought that there was just going to be so much excitement around them, and just the garbage pitchers that come after Kershaw and Greinke. Brett Anderson is atrocious. Definitely should not be starting ever again in the postseason. Really wouldn't be confident starting Alex Wood either. So Mike Bolsinger, here's your shot, bud. But just the fact that you either had to beat Kershaw and Greinke or beat one of them twice, it's real tough to do.
I'm gonna stick with the Mets here because this is a big pressure situation. But game 1 was big pressure too. Obviously not this much pressure, but the pressure was still there. And DeGrom was able to come through. I have to think that he's gonna come up big again. He said it in the post game when they were interviewing him. I knew the pressure was on. I knew I needed to pitch good, and I knew I just needed to do what I needed to do, and he did it. So I think the Mets will tack on some runs against Greinke. They did it again. They did it in game 2. They got some homers. Greinke's, he's viable to give up some home runs. Let's see if that happens again. I still think whoever scores first will win the game, but I think the Mets are gonna do it.
Yeah. One guy I'm gonna be interested. I'll ask you, maybe like an X Factor type player. I'd like to see if Lucas Duda can maybe do it.
Hey, he's been a no-show.
He's a guy who can change and is everything he's done in a swing. He can change it all in a swing. So
my X Factor for you, Michael Conforto. I think he's.
Is he gonna play?
Yeah, he's Greinke. He's right.
He's definitely gonna play.
Yeah,
you think?
He plays against all righties. I think he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's not playing throughout the whole series. He hit a homer in game. He hit a homer already. I think he's gonna have a big game. To be honest,
I don't think anyone has a big game.
No.
I really don't think the Mets. I don't think the Mets got it. I'm gonna be honest. I don't.
All right.
I don't think that they're Game 5 in LA. I don't think Greinke loses. It's more about the Dodgers and the Mets. Phenomenal job too, to the Mets for everything that they've done this season. You could have not asked any more from this team that did not have the right to be in the playoffs at the beginning of the season. No one thought they had a shot. They not only get there, and now they're pushing the Dodgers to 5 on the in a series where they don't have home field advantage. Phenomenal job by this team.
I know. I'm really looking forward to this game. I cannot wait to watch it. I know. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. For New York, maybe hopefully it'll be good. We'll see. But switching gears here to the other side of the NL, the Cubbies won their series against the St. Louis Cardinals, and I know last week I said the Cardinals were gonna win this game, but after this, that was before Arrieta pitched the wild card game. And I said to you right away after Arrieta won that game, I'm switching to the Cardinals. I'm switching to the Cubs. I'm sorry, because I just thought Arrieta just lit the whole team up, and they had a fire in them that wow, these young kids are here to play, and I didn't see Arrieta getting hit like he did, but still the hitters came to play, and they showed the Cardinals, and they won pretty easily.
A couple things. One, you picked the Cubs to beat the Pirates, so what did you expect? Because you didn't think that they were going to win that wild card game through Arrieta being dominant?
Oh, I thought they
I'm just saying, I don't understand what drastically changed.
The way that they did, Arrieta was just dominant.
What did you expect him to give up 4 runs? I don't know what you expected.
I didn't expect him to go complete game shutout.
You didn't?
I don't know. You can expect that from anybody,
Easily. Watch what he did all season. That's one. I just don't understand how it really shocked you. 2, though, and this is not, me trying to pat myself on the back, but there's a reason why I really didn't buy into the Cardinals all year long. That's why I really thought they were going to be a first-round exit. I didn't think they had the pitching. John Lackey, masterful game 1. Masterful game 1. No Wainwright, and the fact that they lost Carlos Martinez was huge, huge, and you saw it. Jaime Garcia got hit. I don't remember off the top of my head that the guys who they throw Waka.
Yeah,
they threw Waka and Lance Lynn, or no, did Lynn come in relief?
I
can't remember off the top of my head, but they did not have the aces, the reliable staff that you expected. That from a team that won 100 games. And it's crazy because they had the best ERA of any team. So that's why it's a little crazy to think. But, in truth, I really do feel that, the Cardinals, they didn't have that staff that would get it done. And I think the Cubs' offense was way too powerful. And, I think you saw that. I think that is, kind of what the story was for that team and everything. So
I have it here.
The Cubs too. They right now I don't know how far they'll go. I don't know if it's going to be a World Series team, but this team's future. I mean the bats in this lineup. Rizzo's under 25. Bryant's under 25. Russell's under 25. Javier Baez hit a 3-run shot. He's under 25. Schwarber, aka Mr. Moonshot, he's under 25. It's ridiculous.
It's scary.
It's ridiculous.
It's scary. And if they get maybe one more pitcher, because I want them to after the season I want them to get one more big guy. Oh, wow, it's scary,
dude. I mean, it's something that
they're my pick to go to the World Series. They're my pick even to win the World Series.
Really?
Yeah, that's how confident
disagree.
I am in this group.
I don't see it.
No, who do you think should? Oh, you thought the Dodgers are gonna beat them,
I still think Dodgers Royals.
Oh, it's gonna be a hell of a matchup. Whoever goes into the series, whether it's the Mets and the Mets pitching versus their pitching.
I would love to see because if the Mets do win Game 5, what you will see is the future pitchers of this league and the future batters of this league doing it much earlier than what they're supposed to, meeting for a spot in the World Series. Who wins? Does Syndergaard go for a 15K game? A memorable game, something like that, and does he shut them all down? Does Schwarber go for a 2-home run game again? Does Matt Harvey come out and rebound from Game 3 and dominate? Or does Anthony Rizzo and Chris Bryant go back to back? Hey, I had to do that. But you don't know. You don't know. I think that's why that would be extremely exciting. But then again, you see the batters of the future up against the pitchers of now. Well, the two pitchers of now, and then the garbage other pitchers that the Dodgers have. It's so exciting. The storylines are deep, man. There's a lot.
Oh, it's incredible. It's gonna be a hell of a thing to see, and it's gonna be fun to watch. Regardless, and we'll see. I just want to know who's gonna win that game, what the matchup's gonna be.
Yeah.
But all right, next we'll go to the AL here. We got both Game 5s coming.
Yeah.
And we'll start off with the Rangers and the Blue Jays. You got Stroman going versus Cole Hamels.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got? 4 o'clock Eastern today.
Rangers.
The Rangers.
I think the Blue Jays made a mistake.
With what?
Throwing Price in bullpen. They went 7-1. Really?
Do you think it was more of a fact that you've said this previously, that Price history in the playoffs is not too well? Stroman did pretty good in his start.
If that's the case, then I mean,
I could see them even coming back with Price in game 5. They had an off day.
They're not. The game's today.
Yeah, I know.
They're starting Stroman.
No, I know. I'm saying in the bullpen.
Oh yeah, it might come out of the bullpen, but
Yeah,
I think he should have been completely rested and started and thrown, and gone out there and thrown a gem. And dude, there's no way that was the right call. Stroman is going up against Cole Hamels.
I honestly don't like the call either. I don't know really what the.
I'm telling you, it was a mistake. It was a mistake the Mets almost made last night.
Oh yeah.
The Mets almost cost themselves a series last night by warming up DeGrom.
I texted you right away. I was like, why?
I'm telling you.
Why?
I really think that if David Price was pitching this game, I would have picked the Toronto Blue Jays. And I will say that, if it turns out how I think it will, very interesting to see that the Toronto Blue Jays, where the fans have longed for them to come back for so long, lose 3 games all at home.
I think Price is going to come out of the bullpen in this game, and especially if they have a lead, throw your big guy for the rest of the game.
But are they going to?
That's the thing. They did hit Cole Hamels in the first game he pitched.
Not a lot. It wasn't great.
It was a good amount. It was good enough.
Was this not the Game 2 matchup?
Yeah.
Who won the game?
Yeah, but
okay.
But I'm saying they still scored runs off him.
But what was the score?
I got it right here.
Cole Hamels or Stroman, Game 5. The game is in your hands. Who are you trusting? Who?
Obviously,
it was a big mistake. It was a big mistake. I'm telling you.
It was 6-4. In favor of the Blue Jays. No, wait.
The Rangers won the game.
I'm sorry. In favor I read it wrong. In favor of the Rangers. It was still 6-4. And this was the long extra inning game. So, all right, my point was throughout the thing they did hit Cole Hamels. So maybe they can do it again. Maybe Donaldson will go deep. Batista, Encarnacion, they have bats. And I think the bats are going to prevail against Hamels. I think they're going to win.
I don't, and I really don't. I don't think so. And I think the Blue Jays shown that they're vulnerable in a way. But then again, they just kind of woke up a little late, I guess. Because, I mean, their bats look like their bats in Texas, but just not at home. I don't know if there's too much pressure. I don't know what it was, but
yeah, I don't know.
I got Texas. I think Cole Hamels is gonna throw a real good game here. I think that was a big mistake, man.
He has thrown good games in the past, so
you don't trade for a guy like Price to give you two long relief jobs.
Yeah, I didn't see the logic in that either. Who knows what they're thinking? I don't know. We'll see. The next matchup going, we have Astros Royals. And this was a big story, the big comeback from the Royals here. The Astros just completely collapsed. What are you thinking?
It's tough for this Astros ball club. In a way, I'm not going to say they showed their youth, but I think that they showed why they were, a wild card team in a way. And I think they show why, the Royals showed why they were there last year. Even though the Royals are like a young bunch, when you really think about it, like they feel like such veterans in the way they carry themselves, in the way that they're not reliant on one big superstar. Like most people don't really, I feel like, know who Lorenzo Cain is. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Because maybe it's Kansas City.
But still, a team that was in the World Series last year and a team that had the best record in the American League again, 97 wins on the season, 98 wins on the season. And they don't get enough love for it. They don't get enough shine. And I just think that the Royals are I think they're the better team. I think that I honestly think the Royals were the best team in baseball this season. I know obviously record-wise was the Cardinals and everything. But I think they showed, and you can't fault the Astros. They did nothing wrong. They went to their bullpen. They took out Lance McCullers. I mean, what were we going to do? Throw Keuchel? He just pitched yesterday. It's not. There was nothing they could have done to weather that storm.
Yeah, and
the first 6 hits were all singles, just merry-go-round.
And that was a big story going into this game. The Astros bullpen was the worst in baseball, and it was one after the other. And after each hit, it was like, well, okay, it's only singles. They can limit the damage, and they just kept coming. They kept coming, but. No, the pitching matchup in this Game 5 is Johnny Cueto versus Colin McHugh. This is what they got Johnny Cueto for.
Absolutely.
This is what they got him for. He hasn't pitched well at all.
This is why the Royals are smart, and I think the Blue Jays made a mistake. You did not get David Price for long relief. You didn't get Johnny Cueto for long relief. But you got them to throw the game you need. This is a game that both teams need, and I think that the Royals are doing it right.
The Johnny Cueto has not pitched well. That's the different thing. Price has been lights out. Cueto has not pitched well in the Royals uniform. So
he didn't pitch as well as Price. Price was amazing
but I'm saying just from
he wasn't that bad.
He wasn't what he was in Cincinnati. That's for sure. But who you got here?
I definitely have the Royals.
Yeah, I texted you right when they gave up the lead. I was like, series is over.
No doubt in my mind. I mean, I'm being honest. Even when they went up 6-2, the Astros did. I wasn't necessarily sure the game was over. I just because of the presence that the Royals hold, the ability to get it done. That wild card game last year against the A's, they were done. The A's had one of the best records in baseball for a long time, and they ended up getting passed by the Angels. And the Royals were out of it. It was the 9th inning. Huge comeback. They did it again. Saved their season. They know how to get the job done.
Oh, they know, and Houston's going to know that. Like, if they get a lead, all right, they might come back. It's going to be in the back of their minds.
I wonder if Keuchel's available. I think he is, right? Coming out of the bullpen. I
could see him coming out of the bullpen. The do or die situation, I could definitely see him coming out of the bullpen. What, he's in 2 days rest?
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, it's just relief. It's just
Yeah, it's just, I'm saying it's relief. Yeah, so
just dude, hey, stretch. If it's the 7th inning and we have a lead, you might come in for the final 3 or at least the final 2.
yeah,
You might throw 7-8 and we'll go to the reliever.
Or if it's even like a big situation where they have guys on base and you need an out.
Yeah, I definitely, I could see that happening as well.
100%. Because I don't think they're risking the bullpen giving up another lead like that again.
Yeah,
it'd be dumb not to. So I don't know. It's gonna be some great baseball in the next couple of days, and I'm really looking forward to it. We have different picks on a lot of things except this last pick here.
Yeah, we just think the Royals.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, because the Cubs already advanced.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, even if you look at the potential next round matchups of, the only team right now, in my opinion, in the postseason that can't win the World Series is the Rangers.
Yeah, me too. 'Cause I think they go down to either of the teams that.
Yeah, either their Western rivals.
Yeah.
In-state rivals of the Astros or Kansas City.
Did you see that tweet? I think there was a governor that tweeted. Oh, it's gonna be in all Houston, all Texas.
It's up to you, Texas.
Oh, come
Get the
on.
job done.
Wow.
They're gonna start calling him the Jinx. They're gonna call for a job, and he's not gonna get reelected.
That's
Watch.
terrible. How do you do that? He must be thinking, oh boy, oh boy. But all right, well, we'll see what happens here. That's gonna finish off the baseball segment for today. We're gonna take a quick break. Come back with some football picks and storylines. Stay with us.